Ouma. So, Mr. Edwin Ouma, if you
Yes,
can hear me,
I can hear again right
welcome
loud
to
and
this.
clear.
This is the alternative voice. Kindly tell us who Edwin Ouma is.
Thank you, Cleo, for this invite. I'm Edwin Ouma. I'm based in Nairobi. I'm a management and, as you have been told, I'm a management and business development expert. I am a branch manager of an organization based in Ngong. We offer lending services to entrepreneurs, both small scale and large scale. So I'm happy to join you today just to share a bit of what the youth need to know about financial literacy, the tidbits and the intricacies that involves the daily operations of how youth should get to know the better things that are in store for them and how to utilize the available opportunities. Thank you, Cleo.
Thank you very much, Edu, for that wonderful introduction. And we are here to talk matters youth. We are youth have been subjected to so many problems as far as financial management is concerned. And Edwin Ouma today is here to shed more light on this. Once more, if you're joining this live broadcast, we're live from Nairobi, Kenya, and Edwin Ouma is in Ngong, just next to Nairobi, is within the Nairobi metropolitan area, and we are discussing today financial literacy for the youth. I'll be your host, Cleophas, OLUOCH, and our guest, Edwin Ouma, is ready to take it away. And so, starting with the right questions first. Vijana wanakopa sana. You being in that sector of finance and economics,
Yes.
what can you think this urge to take so many loans that the
Mm.
youth have in our current society? What can you link it to?
What I think about the current situation in the way youths borrow loans from the several digital lending apps. One, we have the situation where we have several, around 50 unregulated digital lending apps, and also others like Shylocks and the others you know. So what I think about digital lending apps and the youth joining into this, we call it the predatory lending system, where companies, without doing thorough due diligence, they avail the funds to the youths without looking at the ability of this youth to pay the loans. So you find that someone has downloaded like 10 apps from Google Play Store or App Store, then just by registering, you are able to get money on the free. What we know, as a matter of fact, is everyone needs money. But now
True.
the issue comes, everyone needs money, people need money. But the question is, how able are you to repay these loans? You have like 10 digital lending apps, you have borrowed from every app, but you haven't borrowed this money for their intended purpose. So we are at a great risk of losing a lot in the long run because one thing, most of these digital lending apps, as I had said earlier before, they are predatory. They avail the funds as and when you need them. And they compete for clients. Someone asks like 50 loans or 15 loans, for instance, from the various apps. But you see, most of our youths don't look at the risk involved in borrowing. They want instant gratification. That is, I want money today. If it can satisfy my need, I don't care about the consequences. So that is what happens. And it's a very big risk for our youths because, one, when you borrow without a business or even without putting into consideration the ability your ability to repay the loan, definitely you are walking on a very tight rope, because one thing we have most of these companies, they are registered with CRB. Once you have lent, you've been given money, you borrowed money from these digital lending apps, the first thing they do is list you on CRB. And being listed on CRB, the repercussions that details being listed on CRB, they're very dire. So one, the youths are not been told, they haven't been trained on financial literacy. And that is one thing that our education system has really messed us up, because you find that somebody gets out of college, in college you're not told how to handle cash. Then you are in a constant need of money without looking at the ability to pay the money. So what I think about the dangers of this is we should encourage our youths. I'm your fellow youth, and I know what's happening on the ground. Yes, I know what's happening on the ground, and I'm a fellow youth. Most of them fail to even get employment because of these digital lending apps. The stress of borrowing from point A to pay point B, borrowing from point B to pay point C, it's a problem. It's a very big problem for our youth. So I think, Leo, if we really want to talk about this issue, we need to talk about it from the very, very first point of educating our people on the various mechanisms of handling their cash money. Yes, the loans are available to you at the touch of your button, of your phone. But the question is, are you really able to pay the loan back? Yes.
Amazing, Edwin Ouma. And Edu, if you can just tell us on getting to start loaning is a different process than starting to pay it. Getting the loan is very sweet, and at first sight, you'll just rush into it and get that loan.
Yeah.
How can you get that youth who is so much into this loaning business with these digital money lending apps out of it? Because it's kind of addictive. What should the youth do to ensure that they are out of this loaning bracket?
First of all, what I think is driving the youth to borrow this from digital lending apps is, one, we are in a constant fight to seek validation on social media. Today, Edwin, you see Edwin driving a car, or you see Edwin in a neatly dressed. Then you want to measure up with Edwin, not knowing what Edwin does, what how Edwin has achieved, the little that he shows on social media. So we are in constant need. Like, we have like three issues of borrowers, four types of borrowers. One is a waster. A waster needs instant gratification. You get money, you don't care about the cost of repaying this loan. But remember, whenever you borrow money, one thing you have to pay with the interest. But who unto you, if you have no business or even not employed and you're unable to pay this loan, because you'll be constant calls of debt collectors on you will not be peaceful. So what I think, one way we can avoid this is create a platform like this, where, like on the Alternative Voice, we are talking about digital lending. We avail information to the youths on the dangers or perils of borrowing money. Once the main point of borrowing money should be, and I want to set it categorically, one is money should be borrowed for business. Now, if you have no business, you are not in the business of borrowing money, because definitely you will not be able to repay this money back.
So, Edu,
yeah,
do you mean those people who only think of business should get in the art of borrowing and taking these loans, or even someone who really wants to invest in the personal branding. Because,
Yeah.
personal branding comes with so many things. And someone can
Yes.
decide to take a loan just to brand himself to that person he wants people outside there to see. And this
Yes.
person also take a loan. Or
Yeah.
it's not advisable for this personal branding stuff, but only business.
The question is, what do you get from the personal branding? You want to borrow money to brand yourself. To what end? If the branding will bring you more income, then fine. But it's very dangerous to borrow money without the intention of repaying it back. So me personally, I think people should borrow money to do something meaningful. You should borrow money to invest. There are other avenues of investing. So one thing you should do, you should consider first before borrowing money. Look at your ability to repay this money back. It actually, borrowing, as I said earlier, borrowing is very easy. And right now, with the various financial institutions in our system, Kenya has one of the highest. Kenya has one of the highest number of financial or lending institutions, and most of them are digital lending apps. So branding, if it comes at a cost, and one, I am able to gain from it, like you've talked about branding, then if there's economical value of getting money from borrowing one loan to brand yourself, at least that is understandable. But ensure that this issue of repaying it back is talked about. But you've talked about branding, borrowing money to brand yourself. For what purpose? Yeah, for what purpose? Some are just to show it off on social media, they are doing well, just for likes and everything. But to what end? Will that social media branding bring you more income? How are you going to monetize that branding? Yes, that's my point. So
Amazing.
yeah, so what I think, with all the digital lending apps, and once you are hooked, you borrow from point A, and it's maturing monthly. It's a monthly loan. You borrow from A, you download another app, you want to borrow another one. So it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle of borrowing, and you cannot get out of it once you get in. So either I would advise my fellow youths to be contented. There's no need to rush, because one thing I know, there was a research that carried was in Arizona University, it's called hyperbolic
Hey, Edwin?
discounting. That means, I'm saying, a research was carried out on hyperbolic discounting. It means you can forgo instant gratification for future gain. For instance,
Yes. Seemingly we are losing Edwin, but we promise to work on this out as soon as possible. Meanwhile, you can join the conversation live on Facebook and on YouTube.
1,000 shillings.
And
And I need to
yes,
work for
Edwin, we lost you at some point when you are talking about the research. If your screen can come back because you're frozen on our end, we'll really appreciate as you try to restart that. We'll be trying as much as possible to bring Edwin back. But for now, what we know is that money lending apps are there and we really need to take advantage of them, but only to better ourselves. This is the Alternative Voice, and today we are talking about financial literacy for the youth. And here we have Edwin back with us. And before we get to Edwin, we'd like to take a short commercial break and bring your comments through so that we can see how you are and where. Kindly share with us where you are tuned in from so that we can also give you a shout out live on our Facebook. and on our YouTube. We have Millicent Ochieng, who is watching us live from Rwanda on YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in, Millicent. And we have Essie Njoroge, who is tuned. Kindly share with us your location so that we can see. Chuck Charles watching us live from India. I'm here already waiting. We had started already. We have Patrick Angila. I'm in. Thank you very much. And Edu is ready to be with us here as we share more. Journalist Okech Oriwo, Samuel Okech Oriwo, thank you very much for tuning. If Dibeki, yes, Motheo, Nduta, thank you very much for tuning in from Nairobi. We have Remington Otieno, anasema Kondani. Grace Mwangi is watching us live from YouTube, excited for today's show. Thank you very much. Ada Odhiambo, this is great. And that's Eve Dibeki. Ada Odhiambo saying this is so educative. Millicent, Edwin is right. Borrow money if and only if the purpose of borrowing is income generating. That's so insightful. Patrick Wangila, who is watching us live from Thika. Angila, thank you very much. Patricia Molin Matega, this is an editor. Yes, thank you very much, T, for joining us here. Looking forward to this conversation, and the conversation is actually on. And you can join this live broadcast wherever you are, and you can also send in your request to join us in our Facebook page and the link that is already pinned there. Our topic for discussion today is financial literacy for the youth. And I bring it back to you, Edwin Ouma, where you are, and kindly highlight individuals who have just joined us. If it's matter to do with financial literacy for the youth, if you've not really gotten into the art of borrowing, how can you help avoid such cases?
Yes, thank you, Cleophas. One thing I want to say, and at the risk of being misunderstood, is borrowing is not bad. The intention is what matters. So when you borrow money, or you have an intention of borrowing money, yes, I need, like you say, there are things you don't need money to borrow. You don't need to borrow money to buy. And that's why you say, if and only if you think that borrowing money will meet a need or address a need that you really require, you have the capability of repaying it back. That is the only point I'm referring. But if you haven't joined these digital lending apps, I would advise you on having this saving culture. Last year, when the CBK governor was launching the new generation notes and the coins, one thing he said, Kenyans, and in particular, Kenyans, actually, less than 1 million Kenyans have more than 100,000 shillings in their banks. Less than 1 million Kenyans. That means we are doing badly on saving culture. Again, if you look at it from the point of view that most of our youths, and if you really want to look at it from the point of the economy, most of our youths don't have what we call the saving culture. Most of our youths are unemployed. And one thing I really want to say, I want to emphasize on, is there's this culture we call the lottery mentality. Or tunasema kuomoka, nitaomoka. Lottery mentality. That means you are waiting for a jackpot, and that has really led to many of the youth joining this betting site, gambling. And one major cause of youth downloading these digital lending apps is gambling. Really encourages this because, one, you want to gamble to make money. So the easy way out is download an app, then borrow money, then gamble with this money or bet with it, with the hope that you will win lottery. When that is not achieved, you end up very miserable. So your question is, and if I understood it very well, you said those who haven't joined the culture. I would advise that you manage your finances very carefully. There are things that you don't need to buy, because when you buy to impress, who are you impressing? To what end? If I'm borrowing to buy things, to buy faucets, to floss with stuff that I've used borrowed money to buy, it makes no economical sense. So we are like tunajichimbia kaburi, and getting out is a very hard issue. So the other day, the chairman of Films and Classification Board, Ezekiel Mutua, was saying it's very hard now for our youths to get employed. One, there are bottlenecks that have been put in place for youths. There are things that you need to meet to get employed in the public sector. One is you need to have CRB clearance. So say you borrowed money, 1,000 shillings from whichever digital lending app you borrowed from, you're supposed to repay it back in 1 month. Then you defaulted in paying this money. And with a carefree attitude of saying, to where with it, kwani konini, CRB konini. CRB has a risk to it. And we who are in the business of lending, we really look much on the CRB records. CRB says a lot about you, but it makes no economical sense. You borrowed 1,000 shillings, you repay it back, then you get an employment opportunity, but you passed all the stages. Then you are told you have to give us CRB clearance. CRB clearance is very expensive, so you'll end up paying more for borrowing 1,000 shillings. Yes, Cleophas.
Yes, so, Edwin, without just to give the benefit to the person who is watching now and has never been CRB, who being in the money lending industry, and you know dynamics in this industry and how CRB comes into play at various stages of our lives, be it career or academic life. So can you explain to the viewer who is watching now, what's the impact of you being listed in the CRB?
First of all, CRB, it's Credit Reference Bureau. Now, most of Kenyans view CRB as a very negative thing, but we in the lending business, CRB is not a bad thing. CRB gives a record of your loan repayment history, and it has ratings. So it's divided into 3 categories. We have red. The red is the highest category, that you are a dangerous client. That means you have borrowed from several institutions but failed to repay. And then we also look at, we have green, that shows you are a good customer. You have a very good repayment history. Then we have no record. No record doesn't mean you are safe, because if you go to some institutions, even with zero CRB record, you are considered very dangerous, because we don't know who you are, and getting to fund you is a very big risk. We are taking like a gamble to fund you. So CRB record, CRB is not a bad thing, but the issue is, whenever you borrow money from any given financial institution, these financial institutions share your information on CRB, and most decisions are made on the basis of your CRB record. So those who haven't joined, I haven't said CRB is bad. The only thing I do is emphasize on is you need to have a clear record on CRB, a clear record on your repayment, and have a good rating. Yes.
Amazing, Edwin Ouma. And if you're trying to get to understand more on this financial literacy, you can send in your comments at the comment section, both on Facebook and YouTube, highlighting where you are watching us live from. And we have other viewers who are sending in their contribution. And we have Mary Otieno. Mary Otieno following. Quite educative. Thank you very much, Mary. That's Mary Otieno. Yes. And now here we have even Becky. Most of the time youth borrow loans because they are stranded on where to get money. Yes. That's what we do actually, Edwin. And without knowing where it will come from, we just have to continue. We have Remington Otieno. Mimi nilikuwa classmate wa Edu High School. Madeni zilinimaliza pale hadi siku hizi sijawahi omba pesa anywhere. Seriously, hadi Safaricom unibembeleza na kuuliza niko na debt allergy. People should try it. Okay, Remington, we should try this out and see how it comes through. And we have even the banking. Those apps are very fast in putting youth into CRB. And we had someone here called Paulette. Amina Paulette, who is watching us live from Kisumu. Nasema she's really into this discussion. Thank you very much, Ramina, for joining us. And now, if we take this commercial break and bring you now to the sponsor segment, we have Ahava Medical Health Center. Ahava Medical Center, which is located in Konamaji, Manyata, opposite Kisumu Elite Academy, Kisumu County. At Ahava, there are so many services that are offered there: general and specialist consultations, laboratory services, pharmacy, mother and child clinic. Also offer inpatient and maternity services, including Linda Mama. They accept NHIF and other insurance company. So you have all reasons to choose Ahava Medical Center if you're in Kisumu or if you are in other parts of the country. To reach them, you can simply call 07815-323. Yes, and if you can get that, that's the place where you can easily get them, and we can get to hear more from you. So that's all from Ahava Medical Center, and the number that you are supposed to contact is the number right on your screens. Yes, the number running down there, 0714815323. Just to ensure that we have everything in order. Our guest tonight is Edwin Ouma, and we take this discussion to another level. You just talked about gambling and in the youth business. What can we do as youth to ensure that we avoid it? And you've explained that elaborately. And now it takes me to this question: why should the youth loan and fail to invest? What triggers that urge to loan without investments? Other, we loan and we spend so much. And an example is that if you're in a city, I know you had once lived in Nairobi currently, and your rural area, if it's in Mabay County or Migori County, Edwin, or even the viewer who is here, if we can get the statistics right, in your location, you have many supermarkets than banks. And now from Edwin, what can this mean to you as someone who is in this industry? Does it mean that they spend so much and fail to save?
As I had said earlier, one thing we need to know about the current economy of Kenya, and it has really, the damage has been done by the impact of COVID. So when we talk about the youth, the other day we were talking about the current population of Kenya is comprised of 75% youths. Now, youth are a very disadvantaged group because, one, there are fewer job opportunities, and the ones available, it's based on technical know-who, not technical know-how. So, yeah, it's technical know-who because most of the jobs nowadays are given on the basis of just who you know. So we are really disadvantaged. And you've talked about we having digital lending apps more than the supermarkets. I think we really need to look at it from the point of the economy. One thing I really want to emphasize on is we need to, if you look at the Chinese economy, just the other day we heard that almost 800 million Chinese have been moved from the poverty index. That means they're going to middle class. The government should empower our youths. In Africa and also in Kenya by extension, our youths are so disempowered. Our education system doesn't prepare us for life after school. So we have a situation whereby there are valuable opportunities. There is a lot of joblessness in the society. Youths are in despair and despite need of jobs. But the economy cannot absorb the available youths. So most of them join gambling just to try to make it, which is another pitfall. So my suggestion is, I would suggest that we youths really need to build each other. Like, instead of having the usual baby showers, why don't we have business showers? We support each other in setting up businesses. We celebrate each other. We give referrals to our friends who are in business. Instead of going for the birthday parties, we contribute to a friend. Say, like in a group of 5 friends, instead of going for parties, we contribute this money to help somebody set up a business. And this, by this, we are really going to achieve, if at all we really need to get out of this situation we are in currently. One thing I really want to emphasize on is, and I want to give a biblical analogy. When you look at the story of the Tower of Babel, we talked about how these people are united in building a tower to reach heavens. And even God was afraid of these people, the unity of these people. And he did something. He gave them different languages. So what I would emphasize on is, we youths have the power and we have we still have the benefit of age. We really need to support each other, build each other, and then the future will be bright for us. But when we just want to seek the instant gratification, we are putting ourselves in danger of failing even in future. So what I would really emphasize on is on we youths taking charge of our destiny by supporting our fellow friends, wherever they are. If you have an opportunity as a youth, you need to support your friend. If an opportunity arises where you are, where you work, if someone needs to start a business, they don't need to. By the way, one thing I want to talk about is, you can't start a business via loans, learning loans. So I would advise that if you can join, if friends can, I would advise you, one thing to do is join up as a team of even 5 guys, start a business, and then run it for like 6 months. Look at the various areas you need to improve on the business before even considering borrowing money. And that is when a business will address its need by you requiring loan to expand the business. So my take would be, we really need to empower ourselves, empower our youths on the various opportunities that arise. And one, we really need to be together, because as it is now, we are on our own. Because when you look at even the constitution of our job market, it's more of the old people, and youths are languishing in poverty, in joblessness, in despair. Without us being together, united, taking charge of our destiny, we will still be at the mercy of these predatory lending institutions. We'll still be at the mercy of being needy and joining this irresponsible behavior activities of borrowing money from the digital lending apps, and then we gamble our future. So we should not gamble with our future. One thing we need to do is take charge of our destiny, build ourselves as youths. We know what we want. And one thing I heard, and I really want to say it's so wrong, our youths are not lazy. We are not lazy as youths. The issue is we haven't been given the opportunity to prove our laziness. So when somebody says youth are lazy, youth are not lazy. There are no opportunities. You can't say a youth is lazy when you have not given them opportunities.
Without the opportunity.
Yeah, and I really, when we were young, we used to be told, enda shule, soma kwa bidii, upate kazi, uanze familia. And then when you finish school, that has changed. Tulidanganywa bwana. Tulicheswa. So, we youths, we need to change the paradigm shift on how we take charge of our future. What used to work before for our parents has really changed. It's not working for us now. And we really need to do more.
And on that, Edwin.
Yes.
What used to work for our parents, not working for us anymore as youth this time. So if it's not working, is it our lifestyle that has changed? We have so many demands that we really want to meet in our daily obligations, in our daily lives. Is there so much that we really yearn to accomplish as young people? Because we get youth in our age, there's so much into them. And as you mentioned earlier, they are both in a part for money lending. And what they want is to spend it and not to save or even invest, just to use them in their luxurious lifestyle. What has changed? I know you are not in the previous generation, but you might have shared some time with your parents or even the grandparents. So what really changed and what can we do to cope with the current situation?
I would say, and having talked to those who are in the previous system, actually, when you look at the colonial system, the education system was preparing our parents for the job market to be employed. That has really changed. One, because during the early 1980s and 90s, the World Bank and IMF came up with the issue of structural adjustment programs. That meant government, which was the biggest employer, had to take a back seat for the private sector. So what has really changed from then is private sector has continued to thrive while government no longer is the biggest employer for the people of Kenya. And this puts us in a very catch-22 situation because, one, we are educated and our education system prepared us for employment. It didn't prepare us for life out of employment. And this has really put us in a very big risky situation because, one, if you look at the olden days, guys were ready. At a couple of months from 4, there's a job waiting for you. But right now, someone has a PhD with a master's still tarmacking. It's really painful. So I would say the youths, the system has really failed the youths. What we thought would be good for us has now really changed. It's not working anymore. Jobs are not there, and the private sector, what they need is profits. Profits at minimal cost. That means hiring in the private sector is so little. They have automated systems. People no longer get jobs. Yes. And we really need to move from the culture of getting out of school in awaiting employment or getting ready for employment, but be job creators. And I've talked about the idea of getting united. We can team up there. Actually, if you look at, and I want to say this, youth have known what is happening on the ground, and you may not know that the future heroes will not be in the magazine, cover page of magazines. They're not in the media. They're on the ground making a change. So we really need to take charge of our destiny, because what used to work for parents is not really there anymore. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Edwin. And I've just received a message, and the message is, this is the quote of the month of September as we come to the end of this month next week. And the quote is, the youth are not lazy. In fact, we haven't been given an opportunity to prove our laziness. And this quote has just been authored by Edwin Ouma. Yes, thank you very much. That's the quote for 2020. And that being on a light note, we take some comments as we come back to you, the viewer. We have Aisha Mohammed. Thank you very much, Madam Aisha, for joining, and Sema, good job. You can join us live and ask questions directly using this link on our comment section. It's been there. Then we have Charlie Wambia watching us live on YouTube. Anasema, I agree with Edwin. Instead of many parties, as youth are so into, we should even form business groups and build each other. So insightful, Charlie. Thank you very much for that. And we have Mary Otieno. Mary Otieno is watching us live also from YouTube. Anasema, we have innovative and energetic youth in Kenya. It's a pity to show system is work. Yeah, beautiful thought. Instead of baby shower, bridal, and other showers, we should have business shower. Yeah, we should give it a try. And that thought should be fully supported. Thank you very much, Mary, for always being there for us and for the support. Shodia Nyakundi Rogers. Absolutely, Mr. Edwin Ouma. Youth ain't lazy. We haven't been given the opportunity to prove our laziness. Shonda the philosopher. Thank you very much, Nyakundi Rogers, for that comment. And we have Eva Debeki, who is here with us. Youth are not lazy, opportunities ndio haziko. And youth ni mtu kama Eva ni mfanyabiashara na tunafanya na pesa yake. We were just on the other day sharing with her on how he has been conned in this city. And if you've never been conned, try to be conned in the line of your hustle. You can never know the sense of taking a loan just to repay whatever thing you lost. So, Eva, we really wish you well in your business that you do. And thank you very much. We have Inter Otieno watching us live from Seme, Kisumu County. Thanks for this encouraging topic and discussion. Now, this brings me to the point of risks in business. Mr. Edwin, because we have 30 minutes to the end of the show tonight, we would really wish to know what are the risks, because we have two risks. In fact, we have the risk to start the business, and on the other side, we have the risk of you not being able to pay for the loan that you've just gotten. So what are some of the risks that we young people put ourselves into even before we start the investment in business?
There's someone who once said, the cave you fear to enter has the hidden treasures. So one thing I really want to encourage on taking risk, it doesn't matter how it will work, but when you have the courage to start a business, don't look back. Start it off, and the universe will conspire to make you achieve it. I believe when you start a business, you have a goal, a vision for your business. We don't start a business to survive. We are looking at a vision of starting a business. So you run a business. When you run your business from startup to a point where it can manage itself, that's it's a risk, but people fear taking risk. because you fear of the unknown. You fear that people will laugh at you. One, you will lose. You don't have money to run the operations of the business. So the risk of not starting a business is even bigger than the one starting a business. So I would advise those youths who are just starting up, have the courage to start. I believe the universe will conspire to make it work for you. And when it comes to borrowing, I would advise that when starting a business, it's very risky to start a business on money that you've borrowed, because borrowed money accrues interest, and some of these interests are very high. They are very high. And one thing I want to say, why you should not start a business with money. If you go to bank today, that you have an idea, a very good, a brilliant idea for your business, you want a bank to fund your idea. Banks don't fund potentials. Banks want prototypes. What have you done before? The books of accounts. What have you done so that you can be financed? So banks don't fund potential. That's why I encourage people to take risk of starting your business. Then run it for even a period of 6 months. Then see whether you can borrow money to expand the business. And then I know time is up, but there's another pitfall that our youths are getting into, and that is joining the get-rich-quick schemes. The get-rich-quick schemes where you are told, please join us. There's an amazing opportunity. You can make money weekly, 20,000 weekly. Join us. And then you get conned. Youth get conned because of the lack of information. And God says, my people serve because of the lack of knowledge. I want to say, if the deal looks too good for you, you're told that you can make 100,000 in a week or 20,000 in a week, that's a lie. You will end up losing a lot of money just because you are lured by these get rich quick schemes. I won't mention them, but you can get in touch with me on Edwin Ouma on Facebook. It's a very big situation because we are living a lie. Someone lies to you that you can make money, 30,000, 50,000 per week, and you only need to register and bring people on board.
We know those people.
Yeah, we know those people. Yeah, they know
and at
them.
times they post next to helicopters, and these are luxurious stuff that we youth really want to own, because you don't want to die tomorrow without owning one, and that's the dream of everyone. So them putting themselves in such a situation, you think it pushes others also to try get into whatever thing they are practicing, if business or something, if business is legit.
When you want to check the legitimacy of a business, someone tells you to join, you really need to do due diligence, because what is shown to you on social media might not be what it is. You can see somebody putting all the best. Actually, in social media, one thing, we have a disease, and we talked about this sometime back with our colleague, the social dilemma. People want to show their best side. Nobody wants to show their negativity on social media. Someone will say, I'm in Kempinski, taking on a business trip. These are lies. Yeah, isn't it wongo? So what we need to do, we really need to educate our youths on the various channels there are genuine ways of making money. And get-rich pyramid schemes, get-rich schemes, they are not the genuine ways of making money. One thing I want to say is this one concept we call the power of compounding effect. Compounding effect says you can save today progressively over a period of time, a longer period of time, for the greater good in the long run. You need to look at your finances, have a culture of saving, then progressively move with time. And A penny saved today will save you in future. Like it says in Noah. Noah never knew that it could rain. The floods could come when he was building the ark. So you don't know how much your savings will help you in the future. So there are genuine ways of making money, and these pyramid schemes and other MLMs, they are not the genuine ways. Join when you know they can make you money, but I'm against it. Yes, I will preach against it for as long as I'm alive. Youths are getting misled. You pay registration fee, you're told you need to earn money weekly, you can make money weekly, but the devil is in the details. It's not what it seems to be. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Edwin. And we have comments from so many people, and we know this is the alternative voice, and we are here only for this one now, and we're almost coming to the end of this. I would like to get comments will be running through, and we have Jack Charles. Yes, we fail. We always do take all risk to start a business, and even the risk of starting it with a loan. Thank you very much. And Eve, thank you also very much for tuning. We have Gabriel Barasa, the cave for fear enter as the hidden treasures. My new inspiration. Indeed, an entrepreneur must be a risk taker. Thank you very much, bro, for tuning in. I don't know whether you're in Bungoma, Kakamega, or Migori, a man of many towns. And we have Quinta, who is saying the youth are at times pushed to the wall to use the digital lending apps. Look at some of the Kazimtani youth who haven't been paid, yet they've been working, which means they ain't lazy. Where do they get funds to start a small business or attend their family needs? Very pertinent question there from Quinta, who is watching live from Kisumu County, and we have Daniel Jaka watching us live from India. Good topic today. It's so educative listening from India. Thank you very much. And Mary Otieno, I truly feel each family needs to have a business that from a tender age, kids are made to grow into. It does not have to be big, but as a tool of financial discipline for the future. Thank you very much, Mary, for that. And we have a comment from one of our hosts who will be unveiling next week. He'll be hosting his first show on the Alternative Voice. That's Ari Haraka, and he'll be here with us. I don't know if he can have his video on, if he can join us. If not, I'll just read the comment. How does social pressure and the lifestyle of the youth now affecting their financial habits? And might this also be the reason as to why we have such a disparity? One that in this generation, then he continues to say, as compared to the last one, didn't possess the influence of social media and extravagance. This question had already been answered by Edu, but just to come to the end of this show, he'll give his take on this disparity in these two generations and how they pass through that social influence and also the life of being so much extravagant in our belief. And also we have Deshonda Nyakundi again, and Asema, you can't make 50K per week from nothing. I support you for being against the pyramid scheme that are affecting the youth. And this is the truth on the ground, ladies and gentlemen, dear viewer, wherever you are. Kindly stay away from these pyramid schemes, because at the end of the day, you're the person who will be on the losing end. We have an artist here, is Shiko Mwema. Thanks for this. It's so encouraging to the youth. Asante sana, Shiko. And now when we are coming to an end, I would just like to remind you that for this show to be a success, it came as a package from the Ahava Medical Center Kisumu, which is located at Kona Maji. And kindly, if you can pass by for your medical checkups, general and specialist consultation, laboratory services, pharmacy, mother and child clinic, that's where you'll get the inpatient and maternity services, including Linda Mama. And if you have NHIF cover and other insurance companies, are also welcome. And at Ahava, you can reach them through 0714-815-323. You can follow them on Facebook at Ahava Medical Center Kisumu, because Ahava Medical Center is the healthcare with compassion. Now we get back to you, Edwin. Ouma, just to bring the discussion to an end today, kindly elaborate on the disparity and then give us your parting shot.
I would say in the olden days of our parents, there was no much pressure on them. But right now, youths are at a disadvantage because, one, we are starting at a very disadvantaged point where the jobs that were available then for our parents are no longer available. Job creation has been a preserve of the private sector, and the private sector basically survives on profitability, and they have a lean staff. They focus on making profits at the expense of the youths. So we really need to look at. Last year, I was privileged to attend the Africa Fintech Festival. It was a symposium that was organized by the Monetary Authority of Singapore and CBK. And the central bank governor of the CBK, the Central Bank of Singapore, said, what made the Asian tigers, that is the Asian companies, the Asian countries to grow to where they are today, was on investing in the youth, empowering the youth to be capable of taking the destiny of the countries to where they are today. Right now, Asia is grappling with an aging population, but an aging population which is rich. We in Africa and Kenya by extension, we have not empowered our youths. Our youths have been relegated to the annals of the country. No one gives a damn about them. So we really need to focus on, for us to move forward, because in the past, our parents had opportunities ready for them as soon as they got out of college. That is no longer true in our current situation. So what I would say, the disparity has been brought about by the diminished opportunities for our youths. And in my parting shot, as you know, I'm a Christian. I double up as also a vocal coach. There's a hymn that has really normally encourages me so much. So I'm going to read this poem. And one thing I want to say, I want you to listen to it keenly. For Christians, I hope those who are watching, some of them are not Christians, but I hope you understand. It says, courage, brother, do not stumble. Though your path be dark as night, there's a star to guide the humble. Trust in God and do the right. Simple rule and safest guiding, inward peace and inward might. Star upon our path abiding. Trust in God and do the right. Courage, sister, do not stumble. Though your path may be dark as night, there's a star to guide the humble. Trust in God and do the right. I believe, have the courage to move forward. Where you are, understand yourself where you are. Know you matter. The idea of measuring yourself up with others has caused a lot of trouble to people, to many youths, because we are not equal. Some are born with opportunities, some are make it opportunity for themselves. So understand yourself wherever you are. Take stock of what you want to achieve in the future, your vision for the future, and be courageous to take the bold step. If it's business, do it. If it's forming a group, like Mary Otieno had said, we need to do those business showers going forward for us to move forward as youth together. Thank you.
And that's the perfect time and the good point to bring our discussion tonight to an end. It's been 1 hour, 30 minutes. It's been 1 hour and 3 minutes. Yes, we're almost getting into the 4th minute past the 1 hour that we had scheduled. It's 5 minutes on my end past 9 o'clock. And thank you very much, Edwin, for being here for us tonight and for the discussion that we've had. Romeri Otieno anasema, I'm proud of you too and all the youth who've decided to have this uncomfortable yet timely discussion. Thank you very much, Mary, for being part of this discussion, and also Edwin Pedro, who is watching us live from Kisumu County. Thank you very much. Our topic for today has been financial literacy. And kindly take this word back at home. Loans can be from banks or even from individuals. But remember, loans can also kill friendships. And that can take you to that extent of even losing those whom you really treasure in your circles. So begin, and I'll finish with a quote from Robert Frost. And he says, bank is a place where they lend you an umbrella in fair weather and ask for it back when it begins to rain. I've been your host for tonight, Cleophas OLUOCH. Till next time, when we'll be having other health and healthy discussion here on the Alternative Voice. Love yourself. Good night. And thank you very much, Edwin, for being here with us in this discussion.
Thank you. Let's go into it.